Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. Since we have only a few days before 2024 is over, which is both exciting and disturbing at the same time, I decided it was time for another unhaul. I'm trying to be better about not keeping certain books on my bookshelves, and especially since I just started my new TBR series, TBR Slasher, where I'm trying to read more of my TBR and get it under control because I have way too many books, and you know, I just want to get my TBR volume down. I really need to read these books. So since I started that series, and it will be continuing into 2025, and that'll be like a big challenge and priority on my channel and just in my reading as a whole, I thought that it would be good to go through and clear my shelves, get rid of some books, you know, and I want to be harsh. I do. I have a stack of books already on my floor, but I want to go through all of my shelves, both unread and read, and I want to, you know, be a little bit brutal. Get rid of some books that have been sitting on my TBR for so long and I'm just not going to read them. Like, I know that. I need to get rid of them. I need to sell them on Pango. I need to, you know, give them to a new home. Same for my read books. I need to get rid of ones that I don't need to keep, that I'm not like super excited to have in my collection, and just make room for the books that I do want to keep. So I'm gonna be as brutal as I can. I really do want to get rid of books, and I want to end 2024 with like a clean slate, so that way 2025 it just feels a little bit more fresh and maybe a little bit easier to breathe when I start 2025. I think people really like unhauls. I love watching unhauls, so hopefully this is fun for you. But we're gonna go bookshelf by bookshelf, row by row, get rid of some books, and then I will show you the books that I've already put in an unhaul pile, and then that'll be that, and we will count them up and see how many total I am getting rid of. Hopefully you're excited to come along for the ride and see all the books that I get rid of. So let's get into it. Okay, so first up, this row is all my book of the month books, and I don't think I'm getting rid of too many of these ones. I know for a fact I want to get rid of People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, not because I didn't like this book. I've loved every Emily Henry book. The problem I have right now is this is the only one of hers that I have that is a book of the month book. It really bothers me that this is like all over here and then the other ones are all over on that shelf. So yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of this one and then buy it probably in a different version. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I just can't have them mismatch. It really bothers me. So I'm also thinking about White Horse by Erica T. Worth. I liked this book. I really did. I gave it 4 stars. It feels like a little bit more of a beginner horror book to me though. Like a book that I would recommend for people who haven't read too much horror and want to get into the genre. But I can't really see myself like rereading it. I don't know, I enjoyed my time with it. I don't know if I absolutely loved it to the point where I need it in my collection. I'm just not sure. So I'm gonna put this in the unhaul pile for now. Part of me is also considering The Other Black Girl. I actually did really like this book when I read it. I gave it 4 stars. It was just a lot slower than I thought, and it wasn't as much of like a thriller as I anticipated. It was more like a slow burn mystery, I think. I don't know. I did like it. I just don't think I liked it as much as some of the other books I have in my collection. This is hard. I feel like there's a couple more I could do. I don't know if I want to. This is hard. I don't know. For now, this is good for this shelf. So let's move to the next shelf. I actually don't know if I will get anything, if I'm getting rid of anything on the next shelf though. So we might have to move to the next shelf actually, because I think the next shelf right below it, I'm keeping everything. I think there is a few on here that I could get rid of. The one I'm seeing first off the bat is Bathhouse by PJ Vernon. I didn't dislike this book. I did like it, but I don't remember anything about it. And I also remember being really disappointed with like the twist, I think. I wasn't that like excited by it, so I might get rid of this one too. Okay, next I'm seeing a few here, so I'm gonna move my little sign. Lying Next to Me by Greg Olson. I really don't remember. I think it was a good like crime novel. I don't know. I know this person does a lot of like crime books. I kind of remember this one, but it doesn't really stick out in my head as like really unique and profound and like wonderful, amazing that I need to keep it. So I might unhaul this one. Another one is this Alice Feeney His and Hers. I actually didn't like the majority of this book. I only liked the twist at the end. Like the rest of the book was like a 3-star, but the twist made it better, and that that made me bump it up to a 4. So I think I'm actually gonna unhaul this one because I didn't like absolutely love it. I really need to unhaul this Final Girls from Riley Sager, and I keep saying I will, but I never do. So I want to keep it because I love this one. This is my favorite Riley Sager so far, I think. I don't like this copy, and if I'm doing the same thing with People Meet on Vacation, I should just get rid of this copy now. So I think I'm gonna unhaul this to push myself to get the Book of the Month copy like I originally have all the others in. Okay, next shelf. I think this is the last shelf on this bookshelf because the last one is manga that are like my favorites, so I'm not getting rid of any of those. So this is the last shelf on this bookshelf that I will be touching. And I think I'm gonna get rid of There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I read this years and years and years ago. I remember really liking it at the time, but I don't remember anything about it now, and I'm probably not going to reread it. So I think I also might get rid of Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I liked this book. I thought it was better than I anticipated, but I don't know, it wasn't anything like crazy amazing that I want to keep in my collection that I think needs to stay here. Okay, so next up is my like romance section, and a few here I want to get rid of. I think is gonna be these Christmas romances right here. Maybe not Duke Actually, because I really liked that one. But these 3, I just don't think I need or want, or I don't know. I just feel like I don't really want them in my collection. And of course they're at the bottom. Oh God. Okay, alright, okay. So the 3 that I think I'm going to get rid of are The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox, Nick and Noelle's Christmas Playlist by Cody Hall, and Kiss Her Once for Me by Allison Cochran. I liked all these, but I wasn't like in love with them. I think I actually might get rid of Icebreaker as well. I liked it, but it was definitely not a new favorite romance for me, and I didn't really care for the plot. I only really liked like the smuttiness of the book. And then on this side, I think I am going to leave most of these alone, except for Carmilla. I didn't really like Carmilla. I know that's like a super unpopular opinion, but I didn't really like it. I gave it 3.5, so I thought it was fine. But my partner, Justin, he really liked it, so I'm gonna just give him my copy. Okay, as for the next shelf, I'm gonna unhaul Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. I thought this book was okay. It's really short novella, but I wasn't really like obsessed with it, so I think I'm actually gonna unhaul Katie by Michael McDowell as well. This one was alright. I don't know. I don't think I'm the biggest Michael McDowell fan. I might go ahead and unhaul The Rotting Within. Manga series that I'm gonna unhaul is Miruko-chan. I have a few more volumes on my TBR, but I've only read volume 1 and I don't like it, so I think I'm gonna just go ahead and unhaul this and all the ones on my TBR that I have. This next section of my shelf is mostly it's all manga. Mostly Genji Ito, which I'm not touching because I collect Genji Ito's work. Some other manga on this side that I'm also probably not touching, so we're gonna leave that alone. I think we're gonna leave this shelf alone too. It's also more manga. I don't tend to unhaul manga too much, so I think I'm gonna just leave these alone. These are books I've already read, and then on this side towards here is books I was sent that I still need to read. I need to go through some of them though. I think I'm gonna unhaul The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. I do really like this cover, and I did like a lot about this book, but it's not my favorite. The cover is so pretty though. I really love this cover, and part of me wants to keep it. So I don't know how I feel about this one, but I might put this in my unhaul. I'm also hesitant about The Quiet Tenant. I didn't hate this book. I know a lot of people didn't love this one. I didn't hate it, but I also don't think it was anything like mind-blowing to the point where I need to keep it. So I might unhaul this one. I'm so sad because it came ripped. Do you see that it has a little rip on it? Oh, devastating. I actually might unhaul My Dark Vanessa. I'm glad I finally read it and got it off my TBR, but I wasn't obsessed with this book like everyone else. Now we have some arcs and stuff I was sent. A lot of these I have either tried to read, I haven't gotten to yet, or I was sent to them and I didn't know what they were, like I didn't ask for them or anything like that, so they just got sent my way and they might not be totally up my alley. Don't worry though, ARCs are not being sold. I donate these to free little libraries, so I don't sell any ARCs that were sent to me. So these two I actually started, but DNF'd both of them and never picked them up again, so I think I will be unhauling these. This is a thriller that I just don't think really sounds like my kind of story, and I just don't think I really like this one. Camp Zero is a book that I also DNF'd and never reached for again. I just don't think it's for me, so I'm going to unhaul this one. I have a bookmark in Where the Dead Wait by Allie Wilkes. I attempted to read this book like twice and I DNF'd it, so I think I'm going to unhaul this. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for this bottom shelf, so now we need to move on to my TBR shelves and we will start sorting through those. So I will see you in a second. Okay, first up, I'm seeing How Moon Fuentes Fell in Love with the Universe. This is a YA like romance, and I have just learned that I am not a big fan of YA romance recently, or ever, I don't know. So I think I'm going to go ahead and unhaul this one. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akweke Emezi. I'm nervous to read because it does deal with like losing your partner, and that's just like one thing I really don't love reading about. I know it's kind of like a forbidden thing too. She starts dating a new guy and is attracted to his father. I don't know. I'm not thinking this is gonna be for me. I just don't like some of the stuff involved. So I think I might unhaul this. Contemplating 20 Years Later by Charlie Donnelly. I attempted to read this a few months ago and DNF'd really early on because I just couldn't get into it. I was in a slump though, so I don't know if it was the slump or if it was me or if it was like the book. I don't know. So I don't know if I should. I've heard good things about it though, so I might keep it on my TBR just a little bit longer. We'll see though. Here are two Book of the Month books. I've heard good things about The Collective. This one, I don't know. I don't want to get rid of it because I kind of want to check them out because I feel like I've heard good things. I think I'm going to unhaul Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. I thought this was like a cute romance, but I've heard it's more of like a coming age story and it has little to do with the romance and more to do with like the main character finding themselves and that kind of thing. And I don't know. I just haven't really reached for it, and it's been on my TBR for at least 2 years, and now it doesn't sound like something I want because I thought it was going to be just a romance. Another romance I might unhaul is The Dating Plan. I thought this sounded like it was going to be really fun, but I have not reached for it at all. It's Fake Fiancés though, and that sounds like something I would like. so I don't want to get rid of it. Let me know if I should keep this. Let me know in the comments, please. I think I'm gonna get rid of Always in December by Emily Stone. I've heard this is like a really like emotional Christmas like romance. I don't know if it ends badly or not, but I haven't really been a Christmas romance person in a really long time, and I just feel like I don't want to read this. I feel like it's not going to be for me, so I think I'm going to unhaul this as well. Here are the rest of Miruko-chan, volumes 2, 3, 4, and 5, so I'm just going to add these to the pile since I'm getting rid of the whole series that I have. As for this bookshelf, I don't know how many I'm going to unhaul from here because this one's kind of like my bookshelf that I put all the newer books I buy. It's usually the most empty because I reach for these books more than the other shelf. So I actually don't know if I'm going to have any on here. I think I'm going to get rid of All the White Spaces by Allie Wilkes. I'm unhauling an arc of her other book, and I don't think I'm going to like this one either, just based off of the arc that I tried to read. I'm going to get rid of The Amulet by Michael McDowell. Like I said, I'm just not a Michael McDowell person. I just don't really like his writing, I don't think, so I'm gonna go ahead and unhaul this one. Okay, I'm gonna go quickly through the books that I have here in a pile that I've been putting to the side for an unhaul for a bit. So let me just show you what I had before I started this video. Notes on an Execution. I liked this. I didn't love it. I gave it like 3.5. It just really wasn't what I expected it to be. It went in a weird direction. I don't know, I wasn't expecting what I got. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite. The same can be said for Monstrillo. I was very sad that I didn't love this. It was a little too weird for me. I thought it was going to be more like monster horror and less what we got halfway through the book. So it wasn't quite for me. I see why people loved it, but I also gave this like 3.5. Still Missing by Chevy Stevens. I thought this was pretty good. It wasn't like anything to write home about in terms of thrillers. I liked it enough. It kept me reading. It was fast-paced. I did guess the twist though. I didn't think it was that shocking. Graveyard Shift, ML Rio. I thought this was a pretty decent novella. I was kind of confused the whole time I read it though, and I also thought this was going to be a different kind of story than it was, so it wasn't like my favorite, but I didn't hate it. A Spectre is Haunting Green Tree by Carson Winter. I just expected more from this, honestly. I thought it was going to be a really fun Halloween themed novella, and it was just kind of disappointing. I thought it was going to be more unique and more like scary scarecrows, and I don't know, I didn't really get that. So The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I don't know how to say that author's name, but I got this from Book of the Month. I don't know why I picked this one up because I just don't think it sounds interesting at all. It does not sound like it'll be for me. I might give this to my mom. She might like it, but yeah, not something I would want to read. I don't know what I was thinking. Dark Corners by Megan Golden. This is like in the same series that The Night Swim was. I didn't love The Night Swim. I gave it like 3.5 stars. I picked this one up when I got The Night Swim because I thought I was going to really like this character and the stories, and I wanted to continue it, but I did not like The Night Swim that much, so I don't really want to read this one. One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. This is probably one of my most disappointing reads this year because When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole was one of my favorite reads this year, and this was so hard to read. I had to DNF it because it was just like weird, and I didn't like the way it was going, and I was just like, I don't really understand. I don't know, it just was not interesting or enticing me in the slightest, so unfortunately I'm getting rid of this one. Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. I DNF'd this one. It just felt very predictable, and I felt like I already knew where the story was going, and I wasn't that invested. XOXO by Axio. This was very cute for a YA romance. I did enjoy my time with it, but I think this is what kind of made me feel like I don't really want to read YA romance. I want to read adult romance. So yeah, I liked it, but I would have preferred it to be about adults. Someone in the Attic. I hated this book. It felt like such a waste of time. The twist was not good, and it gave me a headache. So yeah, did not like this. Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. This is the third Stacey Willingham book I've read, and I'm just not impressed with her books as much as everyone else is. I felt like this one was super average. I just didn't really care. I also found it to be super predictable and I just wanted it over with. I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones, probably also a very disappointing read for this year. I do not get along with Stephen Graham Jones's writing style. It's so hard for me and my brain to like get in the groove. I don't know, but this I made it like 70% and then DNF'd. So yeah, I know everyone loves him and his writing, but it just does not work for me. Message Not Found by Dante Medema. This was like an okay YA. I thought it was going to be more of like a mystery thriller. It was just more like about like grief, and I didn't think it was anything special. The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. I DNF'd this one about halfway through because I really didn't care about any of the characters or the plot or what was happening. It felt super ridiculous and kind of stupid, and I kind of figured out what was going on, I thought, so I was just like, I don't want to read this anymore. The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. This was cute. I liked the cozy, witchy romance vibes. I didn't really love the romance though. I just didn't really like the two characters together. I wasn't like that invested. It was overall like an okay read for me. I think I gave it 3.5. My Husband by Maud Ventura. I liked this. I gave it like a 3.5 to like a low 4. It was a very weird book. It was very fast. I liked the twist at the end, but I didn't think it was anything super mind-blowing. The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I DNF'd this as well. I just could not... I don't know, I just couldn't do it. The main character was infuriating to read from, and I was getting so frustrated, and I just was like, I don't want to read this. I can't do this anymore. Through the Night Like a Snake is a short story collection. I think it looks very, very cool. There's some artwork in here, but honestly, I didn't find the short stories to be anything spectacular. They were all pretty average in my opinion. Also, a short story collection with pretty average stories was At Home with the Horrors by Sammy Scott for me. I don't know, it was okay. I think I'm just really picky with short story collections, and I wanted and expected more from this. Any Man by Amber Tamblyn. I know people absolutely love this book. I like the idea of it. I did not like how it was written. It kind of really frustrated my brain to read this book, but I liked the messaging. I thought it was, you know, a decent read, but I didn't like fall in love with the book. The New Neighbor by Carter Wilson, a very average thriller in my opinion. Nails and Eyes by Kaori Fujino. I thought this was also okay. I don't know, it was just like fine. Full Brutal by Christopher Triana. Yeah, again, extreme horror. It was okay. Thought it was kind of dumb at times, and it wasn't anything that I personally enjoy when I read extreme horror. I do love this author, but this one just didn't really work for me. Then the last book is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I only made it 60 pages into this book, and I was going through a really bad slump. I don't know if I want to unhaul this for sure. I also don't really like the cover because it's like the TV show cover, but I do want to give this author and this book another chance. I think I have to be in the right mind for it, because this was just taking a lot out of me. It had a lot to do with hockey, and I'm not really a sports person, so it was kind of hard to get into. Okay, so I counted, and I think between this pile, and this pile, I have about 60 books that I'm unhauling. Not as good as I wanted to do, but I think I did make a pretty good dent for the new year, so I'm pretty pleased. I probably could have been a little bit more brutal and I could have gotten rid of probably more, but I think for right now this is good, and hopefully when I start reading some more books off my TBR, I can, you know, start getting another pile together to do this again. Hopefully you enjoyed watching me purge my shelves, purge all my books that I needed to get rid of. Hopefully you thought this was fun and enjoyable and a good, you know, little refresh before the new year begins. If you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel. We can become friends, talk about books, horrifying books, thrilling books, romance books, manga, all that good fun stuff. And with that being said, I hope you are having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!